Good day. My name is Richard Dako, and as usual, I am here to give you the countdown to the AFCON, which is coming up on the 21st of December 2025. The name is Richard Dako again, or you can call me Nana Kwesi Ajiman. Better still, Ammonia. That's my nickname. You can find me on YouTube at Richard Dako. Richard Darko, Darko, and Ammonia 84, Amonia 84. I'm talking about Nigeria today. I am on Nigeria. So, Niger boys, I am on you today. The British brought a lot of good things to Nigeria. Yeah, they brought education, they brought religion, football, and of course, corruption. Yeah. Corruption was imported. It's a colonial thing. That's how I see it. Probably the best thing the British brought to Nigeria was football, and so we will be talking about football today. Now a little bit of history about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Yeah, I want to give you a bit history about the Nigerian football. There are no records of when the first official football match was played in Nigeria, but it started in the 1920s. The Nigeria Football Federation's own record tells us that the organization was formed in 1945. However, there is evidence that the Nigerian Football Federation was actually formed in 1933, some 12 years before. In 1942, a cup competition, the War Memorial Challenge, limited only to teams in Lagos, was started. The War Memorial Challenge was won by Zach Bombers in 1942, Lagos Marine in 1943, Lagos Railways in 1944 and 1945, respectively. Yeah. The Nigerian Football Federation replaced the War Memorial Challenge with the Governor's Cup, which later on grew to be the FA Cup. Yeah, the Nigerian football team, national football team, was known as the UK Tourists when they toured the UK in the 1949. Yeah, on their way home, they played Sierra Leone, beat Sierra Leone 2-0. That is how come the Nigerian football started the national team. Yeah, they changed their name to the Red Devils on their return, and they wore red. Yeah, as opposed to the green they are wearing today. They were called the Red Devils. So when Ghana beat them 7-0 in 1955, Nigeria was Red Devils. That is the name Nigeria used to be, not Super Green Eagles, but the Red Devils. In 1960, when Nigeria played in Cairo, yeah, in a game for Olympic Games in Rome, for the Rome 1960 Games, Nigeria lost 3-0 to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians made them change the name to green. I hope you're following me. They changed the name to green because the Egyptian color was red, and they wore red, and so the away team has to change its color. So the name went to Green Eagles. Yeah, the name went to Green Eagles. They changed the color of the jersey to green, and then they were called the Green Eagles. The Green Eagles was their name until 1998, when they were not allowed to participate in the AFCON, and then they changed the name to Super Eagles. Yeah, they disputed the fact that they withdrew from the competition in 1996, and therefore they want to come back in 1998. CAF said no. Yeah, so they changed the name from Green Eagles to Super Eagles. That is Nigeria for you. Back to the AFCON. Nigeria has such an impressive record at the AFCON. The first AFCON for Nigeria was Ghana 1963. Now, before qualifying, Nigeria had to get past Guinea. They failed. They lost to Guinea. Therefore, they were not supposed to be part of the competition to be held in Ghana in 1963. However, Guinea were supposed to field, you know, Guinea were supposed to find neutral referees for the game, right? Even though they played 2-2, they won 1-0. They played 2-2 in Nigeria, but they won 1-0 in Conakry. The referee was not neutral referee; was a Guinea referee, and therefore CAF punished Guinea. They disqualified Guinea and then put Nigeria in place of them. At the tournament proper, Nigeria were in Group B alongside Egypt, who were then called the United Arab Republic, and Sudan. The first game for Nigeria was a 6-3 loss to Egypt. I remember Asuku Ipe. Yeah, Asuku Ipe. He died in 2016. He was the first goal scorer for Nigeria in the AFCON. In the 78 minutes when he scored in the 78 minutes in the 6-3 loss. Yeah, Joseph Bassi added another one. And then I bet Onyewuna added a third in the 89th minute. In their last game against Sudan, indeed, Sudan massacred them 4-0. Yeah, so Nigeria had 0 points. You know, remember there were 3 teams in each group. There were 6 teams, 3 teams in each group. So Nigeria had 0 points. Nigeria qualified to Ethiopia 1976 AFCON after beating Congo Brazzaville home and away. In Group B, they started the AFCON campaign with a win over DR Congo, who were known as Zaire. That was the first time Nigeria won the AFCON game. They beat them 4-2 with Baba Otu Mohammed. If you remember him, Baba Otu Mohammed was a fantastic player. He scored twice. Sam Ojebode scored. Sam Ojebode passed away in 2012. Yeah, he scored one from the penalty spot, and Thompson Osian got the final goal to make it 4-2. Thompson also passed away in 2021. Yeah. The next game was against Sudan and was a revenge for the 1963 loss when Nigeria won 1-0 thanks to late Thompson Osian. Thompson Osian, 8th minute goal. Yep, I remember those games. Morocco were the eventual winners, who beat them in the last in the last group game 3-1. Yeah, that year's AFCON, Nigeria came third after beating Egypt 3-2. In Ghana 1978, Nigeria was present again. Yeah, in Ghana 1978, Nigeria was present and came third after beating Tunisia. Yeah, now this is what happened. Muhammad Ali Akid, he's dead. He's no more. He died a year later. Yeah, through circumstances we don't know, but he was dead. He's dead, and there's a controversy surrounding his death between the family and the government. Yeah, the government says he was struck by lightning when he was going for training, and the family says through autopsy, which they did in 2012, that they found some bullets. So there is a controversy going on. He has given the Tunisians the lead, right? He has given the Tunisians the lead in the 19th minute, but Modashul Lawa, Baba Otu Mohammed, he equalized for the Nigerians in the 42nd minute. But Tunisia was so livid that the referee from Togo, I remember his name, Theophile Lawson. Yeah, Theophile Lawson. I remember his name. They were saying that Lawson was officiating against them. So the Tunisians walked off, they abandoned the game, right? They abandoned the game, and CAF awarded Nigeria a 2-0 win. Yeah, CAF awarded Nigeria 2-0 win for Tunisia abandoning the game. Nigeria entered the AFCON in 1980 as the host nation. And in fact, Nigeria went on to win. They were in Group A alongside Egypt, La Côte d'Ivoire, and Tanzania. Nigeria won 3-1 against Tanzania, drew 0-0 against Côte d'Ivoire, and won 1-0 against Egypt thanks to Oke Isima. Yeah, Oke Isima goal. Oke Isima passed away in 2013. Yeah, he was 56 years old at the time of his death. At the semi-finals, Felix Owolabi, he scored a 9th-minute goal to see off Morocco. And then all was set for the final. Yeah, then came the final, and then came Mathematica Odebami. I hope you've heard the name, Mathematica Odebami. He was a fantastic footballer. On the 22nd March, 1980, some 45 years ago, Nigeria walloped Algeria by 3-0. In fact, for 23 years, that is after Ghana beating Sudan 3-0 in the 1963 AFCON, no team had ever won a final with 3-goal margin. The last was 1963. So until 1980, no team had won the final by 3-goal margin for 23 years. That was a long time. And then Nigeria did that. Patrick Olusegun Odegbami, aka Mathematica Odebami, he scored 2 goals, and Mudashiru Lawal got the other goal. Finally, Nigeria were champions of Africa. On that day, I think Nigeria had best Ogedebe. Best Ogedebe. I remember the name, Best Ogedebe. I remember best, but was it Best Ogedebe or Debege? I don't know. David Adiele, Christian Chukwu. Christian Chukwu was the captain for the Nigerians. Yeah. And Tunde Bamidele, Godwin Odiye, Felix Owolabi, Oke Isima, and Mathematica Odebami. Mudashiru Lawal also played in that game. Yeah, then 1980. Yeah, these are the names I remember. Yeah, and the coach was Otto Gloria from Brazil. As defending champions for Libya 1982, they crashed at the group stage after beating Ethiopia 3-0 through the late Stephen Keshi, who got 2 goals. Yeah, and one from Ademola Adesina. I am not Nigerian. I will not pretend to be Nigerian. So if I pronounce the name and it doesn't sound Nigerian, please forgive me. Yeah. The stage was set for another beautiful campaign for Nigeria when they won 3-0 against Ethiopia. But they made their match in Algeria. Algeria beat them 2-1. And then 3-0 against Chipolopolo. They lost 3-0 against the Chipolopolo of Zambia. So the crash from the group stage started beautifully, but their next 2 games, did the trick. They lost both games, and yeah, it's history now. They came back again in Côte d'Ivoire 1982 in Group B with Ghana, Algeria again, and Malawi. They went all the way to the finals and met Cameroon. At the finals, Cameroon beat Nigeria 3-1. Mudashiru Lawal got the only goal for Nigeria in the 10th minute. Yeah, and Nigeria thought it was another AFCON success, but Cameroon had other ideas. They scored 3 goals without a reply, so they won 3-1. Nigeria came second. For 1986, they couldn't qualify to 1986, Egypt 1986, and they made it to Morocco 1988. Again, they went all the way to the finals, and in Group B, they were in the same group with Cameroon, they were in the same group with Egypt, and they were in the same group with Kenya. Nigeria and Cameroon made it from the group with 4 points apiece. Yeah, each of them had 4 points. Nigeria had 4. Cameroon also had 4. In their group game, the late Samuel Okoraji, he scored a 6-minute goal for Cameroon, and then Wujamela equalized in the 21st minute. The game ended 1-1. And at the final, Emmanuel Kunde scored a 55th minute penalty for Cameroon, and then Nigeria lost the 1988 AFCON. So for the second time in a row, Nigeria lost the final, and for the second time in a row, Nigeria lost to Cameroon. You hope you're following me. They lost to Cameroon. Cameroon and Nigerian are neighbors. Yeah, as impressive as Nigeria was in the 1980s, they started in the 1990s and kept their impressive record. They maintained their record. They were present for Algeria 1990. Nigeria went with Jeje Okocha's brother. His name is Emmanuel Okocha. And in their game against Algeria, the opener, he scored one goal, the lone goal for Nigeria. In fact, Algeria beat them 5-1. That was the opening game in 1990 when Algeria beat them 5-1. And indeed, Algeria, that loss was the first time Nigeria was losing an opening game at the AFCON. Yeah, for 27 years. They have been at the AFCON after losing the opening game to Egypt, United Arab Republic, as they were called in 1963. Yeah. Their subsequent ones, in the opening game, Nigeria will win until they made their match in 1990 when Algeria beat them 5-1. The same Algeria and Nigeria met at the finals, and at the finals again, Algeria beat them 1-0. So that was a 3 loss in a row. 1 win for Nigeria and 3 losses in a row. In Senegal 1992, they avenged their losses when they met Cameroon. They met and beat Cameroon at the third place playoff. They beat them 2-1. Success finally came in 1994. Yeah, Tunisia 1994. At the finals, they met the Chipropolos of Zambia, who had earlier in 1993 lost their squad through a plane crash. Elijah Letana gave the Zambians the lead in the 3rd minute. Emmanuel Munike equalized for the Nigerians in the 5th minute, and then he scored a winner in the 47th minute for the Nigerians. And tried as the Zambians did, they couldn't find a way past the Nigerians, and Niger won a second AFCON. The game ended 2-1 in favor of the Nigerians. Nigeria therefore won a second AFCON after losing 3 in a row. They withdrew in 1996, South Africa 1996. They withdrew from the tournament. They withdrew from the tournament. And then CAF also banned them for participating in the 1998 competition to be held in Burkina Faso. Yeah, they were so pissed off that CAF has banned them. They came back to host Ghana and Nigeria to co-host the 2000 Nations Cup. Yeah, and again, they made their match in Cameroon. They went all the way to the finals and met Cameroon. And again, Cameroon was there. They beat them 4-3 on penalties after 2-2 draw. After that, they came third in 2002, 2004, 2006, and 2010. Finally, they won it again in 2013 when they beat Burkina Faso 1-0 at the finals. This victory made Stephen Keshi as the second player, as the second man to have won the Nations Cup, both as a player and then as a coach. The first one was Mohamed El Guhari. He won the AFCON both as a player and then as a coach. Nigeria were second in Cote d'Ivoire 2023, just recently, when Cote d'Ivoire beat them 2-1. Nigeria has been to the AFCON 20 times, and this will be the 21st time. Yeah, they have won 3 in 1980, 1994, and 2013. They have lost 5. Just like Ghana, they have lost 5. In 1984, they lost. 1988, they lost. 1990, they lost. 2000, they lost. And 2023, they lost. Of the 5 losses, 3 of them were against Cameroon. 3 of the 5 losses were against Cameroon: 1984, 1988, and 2000. On the AFCON table, they are second to Egypt on 195 points. They have played 104 games, won 57, drawn 24, lost 23, and scored 146 goals, whilst conceding 95 goals. So that's it for Nigeria. If you find this program very interesting, you can subscribe and or like, comment. As usual, you find me on YouTube, Richard Darko, Ammonia 84. Thank you. I'll bring you the next episode for tomorrow. Thank you.